Welcome back everybody to another video on The Devil in Me. Unfortunately, we still don't have any new information about the game yet. However, that doesn't mean we don't have anything to talk about. Even though we still don't have any new information yet, we can still make theories and predictions from older news. The things that I'm going to talk about is the game's soundtracks that have been leaked, the director of the game, and even more news moving forward. Let's first talk about the most recent news, and this one is very exciting. Apparently, another game company called Nordisk Games bought Supermassive. This may sound concerning at first, but it's all good news. Apparently, Nordisk Games is more of a financial support rather than a company that makes other games. In simpler terms, even though the company was able to acquire 100% of Supermassive, this is actually good because they are able to support the team financially. You can find the link in the description if you want to read it for yourself. I really hope that this extra financial support improves these games, because the Dark Pictures anthology are typically made in a low budget, unlike Until Dawn, which had Sony's budget and The Quarry had a very long development. The director for The Devil in Me is going to be Tom Heaton, who, if you don't know, is also the director for Man of Medan. There is already a video of him up on Twitter, and he talks about a lot of the game's improvements and what we could see in the future. I will leave a link to the Twitter down in the description. There are two significant points that he brought up in this video. Since this is the Season 1 finale, just like any other game, there will be new gameplay features. Although he didn't specify on what the new gameplay features are going to be, he did mention that the game will be significantly longer than previous games in that exploration will be increased too. I'm guessing for the new gameplay features, he is probably referring to the new jumping, running, and climbing mechanic as well as item-based puzzles. Those are the only information that he mentioned. However, there will be more stuff to talk about at Gamescom, so I'm waiting for that. Some of you may be concerned that the director for Man of Medan is going to be the director for The Devil in Me. This is because Man of Medan is a game that wasn't really received well with the players, and it was the first one. However, there is still hope. Even though Man of Medan isn't the best game within the anthology, it is actually the most diverging one, consisting characters, lacking plot armor, and a lot of scenarios that you can either get or not. I have actually mentioned this theory on the Things Noticed video, so be sure to check that out. The last thing that we are going to talk about is the in-game soundtracks for the game that have been revealed. You can find this on the wiki fandom of the Dark Pictures anthology. This is probably the spoilery part of the video because these soundtrack names kinda gives away what we could expect in The Devil in Me. If you don't want to get potentially spoiled, you can turn off the video now because this is already the final thing that I am going to talk about. I am now going to reveal the in-game soundtracks, and here they are. And would you look at that, one of the names of the in-game soundtracks is called The Island. I've made a lot of island theories on my previous video. This is already the third evidence that the murder castle could be located in a secluded island. Okay, now let's talk about the rest of the in-game music. The first two are called Dumet and The Journey. Just a side note that these soundtracks don't have a confirmed order yet, so there is a potential that the number one soundtrack in the wiki could be the last one that we will hear. From what I can assume, Dumet could be the soundtrack that we will hear when Charles is calling the guy who's inviting them to the murder castle, or it could be the soundtrack when we finally meet the guy. The Journey could be the soundtrack once we're finally able to explore the murder castle. This could also be the soundtrack for the expanded exploration segments of the game. Next, we have Haunted, Watchful Eye, and The Trap. These three could be the soundtracks that we will hear once the characters are endangered. The soundtrack Haunted and The Trap have names that caught my attention. Let's talk about Haunted first. All of the games that Supermassive has published always have a twist, whether it's from normal to supernatural or supernatural to normal. There is a popular theory of this game that the modern day killer may be possessed by the ghost of H.H. Holmes. The reason for this theory is because the New Year poster for The Devil in Me referenced the poster for The Exorcist. And you know how Supermassive loves making references. Next, let's talk about The Trap. I'm assuming that this soundtrack could be for the finale scene, where if you make some mistakes, literally everyone will die in that one specific scene, and Supermassive loves doing that. We are finally now at our last soundtrack, The Honeymoon, and this one is really interesting because it's the odd one out. Honeymoons are vacations specifically for newly married couples, and if you look at the cast for The Devil in Me, none of them look like they're married. First of all, none of them is wearing a wedding ring, and secondly, this is a documentary session, not a vacation, so why is this soundtrack here? The only theory that I have in my head right now is that these are probably for our prologue characters. Maybe we'll get a married couple. They booked for the World's Fair Hotel only for the place to be a trap. Please comment down below any predictions or theories from the soundtracks. What are your thoughts on the new director? Are your hopes high for this game? I'm really excited for this game. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys find this video informative, and if you do, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, everyone.